So we're going to do a very gentle, slow, low to the ground vinyasa sequence. That's my plan. Come and sit up, hands on knees, as we gather ourselves this morning, taking a breath in through the nose and out through the nose. I have got cushions, I have got a soft thing for my knees, so any props that you need, just gather them around you now. We might do quite a lot on our knees today. Dropping right ear to right shoulder and chin down to chest. And left ear to left shoulder. And then coming up and over. And again. How is the neck feeling this morning? And then changing directions. And then when you've come full circle, come into your shoulders, maybe your elbows, and maybe your arms. And then, with hands on knees, circling the heart. And as you do that, you can be curious about what's going on in your spine, in your lower back, actually in your pelvis and your hips as well. But also, try to dive into your exhale a bit more. And then see how it feels to go the other direction. Coming up to center, reach your arms up, interlink your hands, press your hands high to the sky, take a little crescent, a little side stretch, keeping the sitting bones grounded. Coming back to center, bringing the palms to the back of the head, opening the elbows out wide. Noticing how that feels. And then stretching arms out, palms facing away from you, fingers pointing up. Letting the collar bones expand and open. The shoulder blades drop down. And then bringing hands to heart again, interlinking fingers, pressing palms up, and going from side to side. It's all an exploration. And just noticing how we're doing this morning in the side body. Coming back to center, dropping the palms to the back of the head, opening the elbows out wide. Pushing the head into the hands, so nothing's forced. And actually you can even do some little circles with your shoulders here. You get some really good clunks going on, or at least I am. And then open your arms out wide, as if you're pressing the walls away. And then take your hands behind your back, interlink fingers, press the palms away. As you open up the front of your chest, you might want to look up a little. Quite a nice place for a wriggle. You might notice some sounds in your body as you move. And then bending your elbows, bring your fists across to your right waist and draw your elbows back towards one another behind you. How does it feel if you take a nice deep inhale here through the nose and a nice deep exhale here? And then taking the hands back behind you. And bending the elbows, taking the fists across to the left hand side. Elbows drawing back towards one another. And then coming back and releasing hands. Take left hand to right knee, right hand behind you. Inhale as you sit up. And exhale as you rotate. And maybe remembering last week we did this without using the arms. And it was really quite different. How does it feel today if you bring that integrity of the core, so you're not yanking yourself around with your arms. This movement mainly comes from the core, but the hands just offer some support. And how does your breath adapt to that? And coming back to center, right hand to left knee, left hand behind. Inhale as you sit up. And exhale as you rotate. Again, coming from the core as much as you're able to. There's room for wriggling and adapting here. We want to feel as fluid as a river or a spring. We don't want to feel like we're made of concrete. And coming back to center. Let's take the soles of the feet together. Hold on to the toes, knees just bouncing a little out to the side. Quite nice sometimes to rock from side to side, gives you a little massage in the glutes. And then settling into center, inhale as you sit up. And as you exhale, drop the chin towards your chest. And take the crown of the head down towards the toes. And inhale as you come back up, bring those knees in. We'll come onto all fours. And starting from the tailbone, exhale, tuck the tailbone down, let that movement ripple up through the spine. So the heart lifts and the chin drops towards the chest. And then moving from the tailbone. Spine ripples forwards, heart moves forwards as you lift your gaze, still looking down the length of your nose, if you can. And moving between those two places with your breath. So a back and heart practice. It's all about exploring the movement in the torso, in fact. So don't feel you have to isolate anything. Let the whole body respond to this movement. So you really feel the connectiveness of the limbs, the muscles, the bones. And coming to settle in centre, we're going to reach the left hand forward, fingertips reaching forwards, and then extend the right leg back, making a straight line. It can be really tempting to lift that back heel. Try not to, if you can. And then exhale, bring both knee and hand down. Find that relief as you come to centre, and then switch sides. It's a very strangely named pose, bird dog. I have no idea what that's all about. And we'll do it again on each side. So the inhale gives you the stretch, the lengthening, and the exhale brings you to settling. And coming back onto all fours. Let's just take the left leg round, back. Notice what's going on in the hips. You can kind of play with them here. Note there's huge amounts of mobility. And then we're just going to tuck them in so they feel secure. Imagine you're bringing one hip in towards the other hip. So both hips drawing into the midline. And then bend the knee out to the side, and we'll just circle that left leg without too much movement in the hips. So actually the core is quite strong. And come back to centre. Moment on all fours in neutral. So drawing the hips in towards the midline, you're going to take the right leg back. Sweep the knee out to the side and round. You can be really tuned in to which parts of your body are adapting to support this movement for you. So the weight is moving from one hand to the other probably. The core is adapting. So one more time. And come back to all fours. Walking the hands forwards. We're going to come into melted heart, so bottom stays high. Dropping heart low. And rest your chin on the floor unless that feels uncomfortable. If it does feel uncomfortable, rest your forehead. And then keeping the elbows and the forearms down, let your heart glide forwards. You're going to come and lie down on your front for a little bit of Sphinx pose. You might rearrange the positioning of your arms a little bit. But your palms are flat to the floor, the fingers are wide apart. You haven't got all your weight on your elbows, your hands are really active here. Let your hips be heavy to the floor. And then roll the shoulders away from the ears and edge your ribcage or your sternum a little further forward between your arms. And take some breaths. It's quite strong, in fact, on your lower back, so be really, really kind to yourself if it feels like it's tweaking. Just lower yourself a little bit. And then, tucking your toes under, you're going to press down through your forearms and lift your hips up off the floor, so we're coming into a low plank. And then you're going to raise the tailbone high and walk your feet a little closer. Still pressing through the hands, not bringing everything into your elbows as you come into a dolphin pose. So head is hanging, it's not connecting to the floor. Elbows lifting, heels are dropping towards the floor, and the breath is smooth. And you know you can adapt it any time. You can shuffle around, make it feel different by changing the position, changing your breath. And dropping knees down to the floor. Let's sweep the right arm up. And then exhale, sweep the arm underneath the left armpit, turning right ear to the floor. And then coming back up, both forehand palms down. This time the left arm rises. And exhale, sweep it beneath the right armpit. Left ear to the floor. And then coming back up onto forearms. Press down into your hands and come up onto all fours. We're going to take the right leg out behind you. And as you exhale, bring that knee forward between your hands. Sweep the foot across and let's come into a pigeon pose. You are welcome to use your cushions. It's really nice to take a cushion under your right thigh. Or your hip. Really feels supportive. Coming up onto your fingertips. Again, lower back, be really sensitive and be really kind. What does it need from you? That back foot can walk a little further back perhaps. And then as you exhale, walking your hands forwards. Laying yourself over that front thigh, forehead to the floor. It's a great place to exhale. And then coming up onto your hands. Take the cushion away if you did grab a cushion. And come back onto all fours. Left leg extends out behind you. And as you exhale, the knee comes forward between the hands, foot sweeps across to the opposite side. Maybe the cushion comes around. And the back foot walks away from you, coming up onto your fingertips. There's masses of scope for personalizing this pose. And then walking your hands forwards, slowly folding forehead to the floor. And then inhaling as you come back. Removing the cushion and taking your knees together. And we're going to come and sit now, legs straight out in front. And if you are using a cushion, it can be quite nice to perch on the edge. Legs straight out in front of you, toes pointing upwards. You can have your knees bent, especially if you've got any lower back sensitivities, or you're a runner or a footballer and you have super tight hamstrings, then just bend the knees, that's fine. And maybe actually for the first one we should all bend our knees. Inhale as you sit up, and as you exhale, fold and bring your hands to your toes, or perhaps your shins, or perhaps just either side of your legs. And as you just rest and quieten in this simple forward fold, notice if there's any kind of current happening inside you as you breathe. Is there a response, a movement that unfolds? Inhale as you come back up. Straighten the legs. Let's bring hands behind the back, fingertips pointing towards the sitting bones. Roll the shoulders away from the ears and lift the heart and point the toes. And that might be exactly where you're at for today. You know, many people that is a really strong pose for. Or you might soften your elbows and push through the floor and lift the hips and look up towards the ceiling. Some people even like to drop their head back. See if you can lift your heart a little higher. And then lower yourself down. And coming back into a forward fold. Inhale, reach your arms up. Maybe this time the legs stay straight, but no attachment to that. Before 7 a.m. in the morning, the body is very different to how it would be at 10 a.m. So don't go bringing the same expectations on the shapes you can make. Inhale as you come back up. And let's bring that right knee up. Take the foot across. Hold on to the knee as you inhale. Left arm rises. And exhale, take that left elbow across, bring the right hand behind. Enjoy the twist. as you come back. Switching sides, so reaching up through the left leg, bend the knee, take the foot across. Right arm comes up, elbow comes across, left hand behind. And coming back to center. Let's take soles of feet together once more. Holding onto your toes. Inhale as you sit up. And exhale as you roll into a forward fold. What kind of wriggle can you add? And then slowly coming back up, bringing your hands to your heart center. I feel like I could go for another half an hour, that was too quick. Have a gorgeous day. See you tonight for Yoga Nidra Rest if you fancy a really deep relaxation. That's at 8 o'clock UK time, same link. And see you tomorrow for Koya, anyone who fancies dancing. Namaste.